Energy. Tune in. Take a seat. I might be in love with you.
Radio North. Jordan North.
I'm not going to cut that. He's got such a thing about aging, hasn't he?
Wait, no, actually, that's how life works just now. Wild.
Podcast pals for
all eternity. What did you just say? Start with stars in our eyes.
That's so getting cut. What have you been
Oh, whoa. I've got a surprise. I know. I'm hijacking the segment. I am taking over. I have a surprise.
Okay.
So, thinking about music, thinking about last week when we had our video of you sung the original song, which we may or may not use to our podcast. I went on AI and I typed in, "Can you write a song?"
No.
It gets better, right?
Okay,
Can you write a song for the podcast, a bit of R&R? All I typed in.
Oh my god, I love
All
that.
I typed in.
Yeah.
So, in my very secret folder.
He's got an actual phone with him.
So,
So old
in my so it's giving us a full song.
Oh my god.
So keep in mind, all I typed in was for the podcast, a bit of R&R. So no information, nothing. I don't know if you want to read it or you want to read it out loud.
Have you read it yet?
I've had a read of it. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you want. So just the hint. It was the write a song for the podcast R&R. No other information.
Okay, I'm just gonna read verse one. Yeah. Tune in, take a seat. It's time to unwind. A bit of R&R, the best you'll find. Rhys and Ruby, they're here to share stories, laughter, and thoughts that care.
Yeah,
it's like a poem, but like musicals are like quite poetic.
Yeah, very poetic. Yeah, but I just think it's crazy that they were able to pick out our names, what we do. Because I just typed in a bit of R&R, and they.
Wait, you didn't type our names in?
And they came up. They took our names out. The chorus. A bit of R&R is all you need for your soul, your heart, and your mind to breathe. A little laughter, a little bit of chat. Rhys and Ruby, they've got your back. So sit back and relax. Come laugh with us. A bit of R&R. We're here to trust. So
oh my god!
It's a full like
I want to
song.
Sing, but
I'm following on from the success of Nicky Knockerson's Sing and Spin song and the Jolene Dovers theme tune, but we can have a listen to it, and I don't mind uploading it because it's
a bit of R&R.
Yeah. So
all you need for your soul, your heart, and your mind to breathe. A little bit of laughter, a little bit of chat.
So that
where is that from?
It's an AI sort of lyric to song.
Is it the same as that?
It's because you can only do so many seconds.
Yeah.
So I only did like the chorus.
But yeah.
But I just thought that was really fun.
That is so creative.
Well, I mean, I didn't do anything. It was all the
I know,
AI.
But you came up with that idea.
But I thought, because we were talking about music, I thought that would be interesting. And I also want to see what it could pick out from us. Just given the podcast, have a look and see what it says.
And they came up with our names.
Well, yeah. A little bit of laughter, a little bit of chat. Rhys and Ruby, they've got your back. From wild ideas to deep reflections, every episode's a perfect connection. So grab your headphones, don't miss a beat. Rhys and Ruby have what you need. It doesn't quite rhyme, beat and need. It is a computer, so I will.
How would you sing it? I'm not.
How would I sing it?
Yeah.
It would depend on.
Tune in, take a seat. It's time to unwind.
But so I thought that would be a fun little.
I love that.
I mean, we may or may not use it, and I don't really mind. It was
no.
I made it like computer with the computer, but
that's AI for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
come on.
Well, as we said, it picked out all the information, and it had made.
That's a little
15
creepy
seconds.
That it did our names. It must have put it. So they must have known a bit of R&R is a podcast about Ruby and Rhys from social media.
Well, it must have because you can do that thing where it's like from my Instagram page, what was my favourite colour, so it can read all the information. So it must have just some sort of transcript somewhere on YouTube that's picked out and made us a song.
But no, thanks for that.
That's all right. That's one of two surprises in today's episode.
Oh my god!
I know. The second one.
I thought that was two.
Well, no, that was one.
Okay.
And I've got another one for later.
Oh my god.
But I've got to wait.
I've
got to wait for the time when the time is right.
All right. Okay.
But obviously, going from like AI music, and I know there's obviously issues with like AI and replacing musicians.
Yeah, of course.
But then I don't think you can get as good as I think it's great, but I don't think you can beat like traditional artists. I don't a machine can't.
Or traditional humans in general, like I feel like AI is trying to take over everything, and I saw a podcast the other day, and it was like AI trying to take over influencers because they don't have to pay humans; they just got to pay like a smaller fee or whatever. I was just like, that is insane. Like humans are.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to watch? And they look so real, though. These AI.
Totally.
Oh my god, no, it's
and
scary. I hate it.
You can make them say whatever you want.
Well, literally.
Yeah.
And they'll know your name.
Yes. So what about like normal music then? So what sort of music do you like? What sort of music do you listen to?
I like a very wide variety of genres. So I go from like country to like blues to like soul.
Okay.
So a bit of Todrick Hall.
Yes,
of course. Of pop, but your favourite.
My fave, yes.
So a bit of folk, indie. Like I like everything. Because I grew up with a lot of like, folk inspired like music around me. But yeah, I like a bit of everything. What about you?
Well, I think I'm mostly like musicals, but obviously we'll get onto that a bit more later.
How can I forget? That's a genre.
And quite a lot of pop. Sort of the camper the better for me.
Yeah.
What do you listen to music on?
Spotify. Oh, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Because I don't have premium, so I listen to it mainly on YouTube. But
okay.
Spotify if I'm out.
Have you got your phone? Can we look? Okay.
I've got my laptop though.
That's fine. Should we start at the bottom of the list and work our way up?
Yeah.
So from songs we listen to sometime. We're not going to go through them all, but
okay.
What's like your most listened to song?
So it's 30, right? Have you got 30 on your list?
It doesn't have numbers. Did you have numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just do a selection of mine then. So the bottom of my list of most listened to is "That Don't Impress Me Much" by Shania Twain. Which is a classic.
Much.
There's a really nice live version, but I haven't listened to it enough for it to be on the things. Yeah. But I do really enjoy it. What's your
Low by
SZA? Yeah, SZA. Okay.
I don't actually know that song. So
I don't know how it's ended up there.
Yeah.
Okay. What about
the next one? Is Attention by Todrick Hall.
Good. Mine is Chapel Row and Red Wine.
Oh
Supernova.
My god, that would be my top. I love that song.
And then I think the next one's Because of You.
Go on.
The Wizard and I from Wicked.
Yeah, that's me. I love that. Mine's actually, in thing with Wicked, mine's Cynthia. I Might Be in Love with You.
What's that from?
I mean, Rhys. Clearly, our blind date went
is it just?
Well.
Yes, very well.
That's a really good song for this moment. But,
okay.
Because of You.
Some more interesting ones that are in here. Oh, The Rock's entrance music from WWE.
Your top song
is very camp at the top here. Todrick Hall is "I'm Gay."
Right at the top.
There's number one.
Okay.
Let Loose, Lucy LaDuca from Drag Race, and Let's Have a Kiki by the Scissor Sisters. My top three.
Okay, so mine are Nails, Hair, Hips, Heels. Top
Classic.
one.
I think that's probably my fault. More than,
yeah. It was from the other night. And maybe this time. My god,
that's a really good song.
That's a really good top three.
Actually, it's a really good
top. And then In Pieces is number 4.
Yes, I was going to say the new musical about this, the one that we both really enjoy.
Oh my god, I love that musical so much. It's like I really wanted to come to the UK.
No, I reviewed it a few years ago.
Reviews, yeah.
Yeah. But then. So going back to sort of like normal music before we get onto our obsession, do you listen to the same music for like everything? So like when you go for a walk, do you have a certain playlist, or do you have like?
No. I think it changes. Sometimes I listen to the same song like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, I do that.
My mum's like, "Rube, you listen to this too much," and I'm like, "No, I haven't. I'm not satisfied yet until I've listened to it 10 times." Like, honestly, I don't know. My brain's weird. I'm just like, I'm obsessed with the way this sounds, so I need to listen to it. On repeat.
So you don't make a playlist, you just pick out individual songs?
Literally. Wow. I've got a few playlists on there from like my most liked and stuff like that, but I'm not really a massive fan. Like I am a fan, don't get me wrong, when we do like a Ned's party and like we did Ruby's Return and we made a playlist and I love that because I know I'm going to like every single song on there. But I don't really do playlists. I don't know.
Oh, see, I really do playlists.
Your playlist, yeah. Most
so
of the people I know are.
I have playlists for whatever. In fact, if I'm seeing, like when I did Jolene's Drag Race as the co-head judge, I made a playlist of all the songs that I enjoyed throughout the competition and like things that were important or moments.
It's very Rhys reviews too, though. I'd be very surprised if you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so and I do, but then I do find myself listening to like the gym playlist when I'm just like walking or like
that's a good one.
Or like going to like when we have parties in the garden. Sometimes the gym appear like. Because I think I just put in songs I like rather than
like set moments.
Yeah, like or like vibes or I just.
What would be your gym like? I feel like a lot of people need like motivational like heavy music for the gym. to like motivate them. But I'm like, I'll listen to fucking Wicked.
Yeah, no, I'm quite like that.
Song, I love musicals, so I'd listen to that on every occasion. You know,
I would go quite like Todrick Hall because it's quite electric-y and quite like flamboyant. So I quite like that.
That's very you.
To get the like when I'm exercising, especially, and I don't like listening to songs I don't like in the gym. I don't know.
It puts me off
because I'm just like, well, why am I listening to this?
Yeah, you already feel a bit uncomfortable during the gym.
Yeah,
you're like, you need to feel like confident and stuff. Can't do the gym without music though.
No,
go with a
no, and the gym radios were always the worst.
Oh my God, why are they even there? Like, put them off. Everyone has AirPods or headphones, and I've gone with friends before and they just chat. I remember when we talked about going, and you were like, by the way, we're going to be physically together, but we are not going to speak.
Don't speak to me
when
I'm at the gym.
We're not doing a podcast at the gym.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
I'd pretend we don't know each other.
Yeah.
We're just stood maybe next to each other for an hour or whatever, but no, can't speak at the gym. It demotivates me.
Actually, I was looking at your jumper then, and it reminded me, did you know Subway have their own radio station?
No.
Subway and Greggs have their own radio station that they play in the stores.
How?
I don't know how they
must have got a license for that.
Film it. But I imagine it's probably cheaper than, well, I don't know, commercially. If they have one, they can just spread it to all the shops around the UK.
That is true.
We should start an R&R radio station.
We actually should. We should make a playlist.
We should. I talk about this week one.
You did.
Yeah.
It'll all just be musicals though, so, you know. If you're not a fan of musicals, then why are you watching this?
This is true. We probably like recommended.
Yeah, we literally did.
But like I don't know, like being a radio host, I don't know whether I'd enjoy that.
You'd be so good at it.
I think I like.
Oh my God, you've got experience from like interviews.
Yeah.
So I feel like you just go naturally into it. You should see if Cardiff have like a local one you can join.
What does There's quite a few. There's the one in Cardiff Bay.
Yeah. That's the one I
radio. I can't remember what it's called, with our friend who hosts it, and Craig Law as well.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Does radio, doesn't he?
Yeah. You should contact somebody and just say, like, do you have any...
Yeah.
I don't know if you could volunteer, or like, I don't know how you'd get into that, but
yeah.
I feel like you'd be so good at it.
I went to see Jordan North and William Hanson's Help My Sex My Boss. They did a live streaming of their show.
Well, you actually physically went?
No, I went to the cinema to watch a live streaming of it.
Wait, they just won an award, actually.
Yeah.
The best podcast or something.
They did. And also, they performed at the London Palladium.
Wow.
Where I was 2 weeks ago, invited to an event in person. Just
saying. Drop.
Yeah, just casually putting that in there.
Casually.
But they did, because obviously Radio North, Jordan North's a radio host.
North, yeah.
And he did a skit with William about like the mixing on air.
No way.
the transitions from like when they're just chatting to introducing a song.
Yeah.
And how they time it up, and we need to watch it because it's really, really funny.
I love them as well. I need to listen to the podcast more.
But like William Hanson's is wild when he was doing his transition. Like it was just
God.
like
I bet it
the
was,
most flamboyant thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know whether I'd be able to do that. Like you know, when we film the podcast and we chat for like hours and then we cut it down. You can't do that live on radio.
No, and that's what I try to do. I know this is a little bit off topic, but that's what I try and do on the podcast. Try and make it as just authentic. If there's little mistakes in there, like I'll just keep them kind of in. And I always think, pretend you're editing a radio program. Obviously, you don't really edit a radio thing because it's live. But like, kind of like, that's what I think of when I edit.
Yeah.
Edit. I don't really cut much. But like, yeah, I love how free-flowing a podcast is. But it is nerve-wracking, especially if you're used to being able to go, I'm going to record this now and then I'm going to cut little bits later. So it doesn't matter if I'm like, getting a drink or like doing something. You can't do that on live radio.
Well, no, and you've seen firsthand my sort of self-tape recordings. There's a lot of stuff I just do in between takes. But I don't know whether I'd be able to deal with that sort of pressure of like doing it like in the moment.
It is nerve-wracking. I think you would be able to do it though, because I feel like anything you put your mind to, you would be able, you have that experience. It's not like you've never spoken on a mic or a camera and you've never interviewed someone you didn't know, or like you put yourself out there quite a lot. So I feel like doing something like that is just elevating you a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose it's the same as kind of like acting and performing. That's life as well, isn't it? You know, you don't get a second take on the stage. Or whatever you do in that moment is on.
Especially theatre and musical. Oh my gosh, I'd love to do it, but
I think there's like this. It's really different for musicals because you do have that one take, and like same with radio. you can't just do it again.
No.
You can't. You've got to know what to say in that moment.
Oh, you have to think so on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have... You have to think 5 minutes ahead all the time.
Well, yeah. But then I think that's part of the fun for theatre, isn't it? That's what's exciting about it. When you watch it, it's like...
Yeah, how talented these...
Yeah, because I've seen... There's been a rise in TikToks of people who were like musical theatre performers being like, that's me falling over or something happening.
Yeah.
Or... Remember we did a show once and I don't think it was in front of an audience, but it was the dress rehearsal, so it was like a total run through, and they all had to wear glasses for a part of the show. I'm trying to think of what. Oh, it was Be More Chill. So you had to wear sunglasses because they're all like taken over by robots.
Yeah.
And one of the guys just forgot to bring on his glasses, so he was stood at the front with the photographer because it's dress rehearsal, and all the photos of just him with no glasses. And like as the stage manager, that made me go crazy because I was like, they were all ready for you. They were all lined up. He just forgot.
Do you reckon he knew in that moment he forgot?
Well, he probably did. He probably is when he's on there. You know, you just have to roll with the punches and see what happens.
Have you ever been to a show where it's like there's like a scene and it's like I went to see Waitress, and it's the scene where she's with the doctor. And they have like a laughing fit on stage, and I'm just like, I just carry on laughing. I love this. It's so real and authentic, and I'm like, they're not robots. They're not AI. They're real humans.
They're in humans on the stage.
You know, like I love that. So, but in that sense, it's like I bet they're perfectionists. Because he forgot something as well. It's not like he was on stage and he couldn't stop laughing or
something went wrong or
it's like he can't go back and get it if he's on stage performing. But
and I remember when I was in high school, we did Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where they all walk into a church, the group of gangsters go into the church to kind of be like, oh, we're confessing our sins, sort of thing. And I did it in year 7, and they went to open the door, and the door just wouldn't go. I think they pushed rather than pulled, but it was like then stuck, so they couldn't go the other way because it was stuck. So we all just marched off stage, went round the other way, came in, and walked in the other side of the stage.
That's funny.
And one of the guys was like, "You really need to get that door fixed."
Yeah.
And we all had like in character was like, "That door needs to be fixed. We can send a guy over to fix it for you if you want."
That's how we did in character
on stage.
No.
And he was like, "Yeah, that's why you've got. You just got to like deal with it and move.
Yeah, you just got to think on your feet, kind of thing." I'd love to be in a musical. What's your dream musical to be in?
Dream musical to be in. Oh, see, I've done a bit of musicals in like ensemble and chorus. Like if I like lead role, like if I was playing the main character in something, I think it's Little Mermaid Ursula.
Really?
I think that would be a really fun one to do. I just think that'd be really fun, and like being a part of the whole like building of the world of Little Mermaid.
The production behind
I think would
it
be
as
fun.
Well. Oh my gosh!
I think that would be amazing. In terms of like, I'd like things that I'd want to be a part of, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I just think being like a cast member in that would be
oh my gosh
incredible, because like going back to what you said, you know, the things that go wrong by have you I don't think you've seen the Rocky Horror Show live, have you?
No, not live.
Well, there's whole heckles from the audience and they shout things out and they get up and dance and they like it's almost like an immersive experience. And I was watching an interview with someone who played Frankenfurter in one tour, and an audience shouted something out that he'd never heard before in like a really like sentimental moment in the show, and he just apparently stood there for minutes just chuckling to himself on stage in the spotlight, frozen, because it was supposed to be like a back in like like an emotional moment. He just stood there and chuckled to himself for a couple of minutes because he was like, that was really funny. And like I imagine
I like that though, because it's like it just like makes them more human, like I said earlier.
Yeah,
it's just a bit more real and authentic. Like that's probably what I would do.
And like, but then the ability to like just improvise off it.
Oh my gosh!
I think it'd be a great show to do. I think it'd be so intense that, like, I think.
Absolutely.
Not knowing what's going to come out with the audience member's mouth next, or what's going to happen, or where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Would be insane.
Is it on at the moment?
Sang is like pretty much like always touring at the moment.
Is it always? Yeah, because I know London always do West End. They've always got shows on.
Yeah.
There, but no, I'd love to see it.
It's very good. You should come next time they go.
You've seen Wicked, right?
Yes, sorry, in London.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My favourite is Wine and Green Steak Ups. Oh god,
I thought it was as well. I was checking.
Yeah.
So what about you then? What's your sort of dream roles? What shows would you like to be a part of?
Do you know what? I feel like any time I see a musical, and my sister can actually vouch for this because I've been to like musicals all my life from like a really young child. I've always just been like, I don't care what it is. I just want to be on stage. I get that like FOMO, like jealousy. Like I'm like so envious in such a beautiful way. But I'm always like, I just want to be, even if I'm just an extra in the background, I just want to be on stage. I want to be part of the team. I want to be like with my theatre family kind of thing. It's so cringe when I say it out loud, but I'm like, I just want to be on stage. But I think I just love to be in Wicked right now, to be honest. Like just anyone on it.
Yeah.
Like not even not even front roles, because I could never. But you know, like in a parallel universe, like maybe Glinda. Glinda.
But I think that it's such
you were her friend.
I think it's such a big production, Wicked, isn't it? I think that's one of those 100%. Things that's like, you know, the costumes, the staging, even just being there while someone is flying around is like that would be an amazing experience and such a big show as well.
Well, I mean, the film on its own was just absolutely so the amount of effort, money, and work they put into that production. Deserves every award.
Yeah, so talented. But then I think just like, also, I wonder if being in such a big show, do you think that would add pressure to you? Like if you were like, look, you're going into Wicked.
100%, but I think I'd love it and thrive off that. Especially if I wasn't playing like a lead role. But I know for like Ariana, Cynthia, Jonathan, like, you know, the front roles of those, especially like the movie, they probably thought like, what, it took them 2 years to film. They probably thought in that moment like, we have to do this right, because they know for a fact it was going to be a success. There was no way they were going to make Wicked on screen and not make it a success, because it was kind of like a homage to like the Wizard of Oz as well. And it's like, it's not, well, I know the Wizard of Oz has been redone. It got redone with Mila Kunis, didn't it? In like 2016.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
but okay.
Yeah. They did it again. Was a massive fan, if I say so myself. But I knew Wicked. They couldn't have messed that up. So, but no, I love that film.
Yeah, it must be intense though, being like you're working on this big show. I like new musicals. Then do you listen to new musicals? Kind of undiscovered people like. Performances?
I do. Not that I can't remember every single one that I listen to. I find a lot of them on like TikTok, and they're trying to get themselves out. That's how I found
In Pieces. Yeah.
That's probably
that's how I found it as well.
They were just everywhere. They were on my For You page like every day, and I was like, oh my god, I'm obsessed. They're probably like my new favourite musical at the moment.
Because I went to London to see, and I know it's like the West End, so they're fairly established anyway. But I went to see Figaro, which is a brand new musical. Here, which was fantastic. But I quite like that, listening to new stuff and kind of not knowing what's going on, what's happening.
Yeah, me too.
Like there's Catfish the musical, which was a really good one.
You tell me about this.
Yes, the lady who runs. Are you in the Musical Theatre Appreciation Society on Facebook?
I don't think so.
Oh, there's a lady who runs it,
and
she basically created this musical. And it was really like they sent me a preview. It was it's really, really good show. So, what are like shows you want to see that you haven't seen yet? What are the musicals that you would love to be in the audience for?
Tina Turner. The musical.
I would love to.
I was looking at tickets in London. Actually, they're not the cheapest, by the way. No. But I'll give my life savings to musical theatre.
I'd love to see Tina.
I've seen. Oh my gosh,
the Cher show's one of mine as well. I want to see the Cher show.
Yeah.
As like,
oh my gosh,
two icons. I'd love to see it.
Cabaret.
I saw Moulin Rouge from Matinee and actually interviewed Adam Gillian, who was playing Christian as an understudy, but the time I saw it. And then I went to see Diva Life from Hell in the evening. That was a press event. So I was like, if I'm going to London, I might as well have a day of it and see a show before.
Why not?
Yeah, and I saw Frozen on the West End. That's another great one.
Is it?
Very,
I'm
very
interested
good.
To see it's Frozen, Shrek,
Shrek's fun.
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
I'm not a massive fan of Harry Potter film wise. I appreciate, but I'm not a huge fan myself. But what's I going to say? My brain keeps
because there's a new Dracula adaptation, and I will show you.
There?
I will show you the video off camera.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. It's very it's a
Where
very
is that,
good show.
London?
It's heading to London. I'm sure the West End.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'd like to see that.
I think it's like a comedy spoof.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah, I think there's so many new musicals that come out like
independent,
and which is great. Like people just writing them, and then they're like, right, this is.
I'm glad they're getting the recognition and actually getting seen.
And like I in my interviews I always say to people like, everyone has a story. So why shouldn't everyone just write?
Do you know what I mean? Everyone has a story, so just write.
Just like
whether it's a book,
whether
a musical, a film,
whatever
a
it
short
is,
film, or put it on YouTube.
You've all got your own experiences, and
exactly,
yeah.
What would be yours though? Because I know you want to see Tina the musical.
I'd want to see Tina.
What's one you haven't seen that you'd want to? I feel like you've seen way more than me.
Well, yeah, because I get invited to them to review.
The one and only Rhys reviews.
Phantom of the Opera is one I've not seen that I'd really want to, and I think that's like a classic that you have to see as a musical theatre fan. Tina,
no, Phantom. I remember you saying.
Phantom.
Yeah, we should see a musical together.
We should. That'd be fun.
We need more in Cardiff. I love London. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like if I went up there for a weekend, I'd want to see 4 musicals, like 2 each day. 1 at 2, 1 at 7.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean? Just to make the most of it, because I'd want to go up there. That's what I did.
Well, yeah.
But what's in Cardiff at the moment? I know Dear Evan Hansen is at the end of May.
That's
April.
I know it's great.
Oh,
I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
but
I just love it. I have to see it. They got rid of it for a while, didn't they? And then they brought it back for this year.
It. Well, no, did they change it? Or did I imagine that?
I don't know if they changed
Oh, they changed Book of Mormon, didn't they?
I'd like to see Book of Mormon.
That's good. That's a very good show.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Very rude, but very funny.
Yeah.
Avenue Q is always a good one.
That?
Avenue Q puppets.
Oh, I don't know.
You need to watch it. It's like they're like crude puppets.
Oh, it's very you.
It's like talking about going to see a show together. We saw a show together in the Millennium.
I was literally about to bring this
Pontypool.
Was it
yes.
Yes.
Pontypool.
And do you know what? I only understood what it was about when I spoke to my dad, because I said to my dad, Dad, you never guess where I went? And he's like, because he doesn't even like musical theatre. Don't know how it's related to me, to be honest. But I was like, I went to this weird in a good way, by the way, but it was weird, wonderful, scary, just crazy, out of this world show. But it was in a small room, and he was like, "Oh, what was it called?" I went Pontypool. He goes, "Ruby, that's a film.
Yeah,
that's a Canadian film that they've obviously just thought, well, we need to make it a Welsh adaptation because it's a Welsh.
Yeah, it was set in there.
And it's about a radio station." And then everyone turns into zombies. That's the quickest way I can put it.
Yeah,
really.
it was
wild.
It was wild.
Very immersive.
Yes.
You were part of it. The room went dark. Rhys got scared.
Yes, a lot.
I got told to shut up. And that was the end of the show.
That was it. That was it. We were just props.
We were the ones on stage.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. But then also, I think there's small theatres that I think need more appreciation as well. In Porters, they have their musical theatre showcases and shows. I'm actually going there in May to see The Beauty of Being Heard. I did an interview with the lady.
She's performing it?
Yeah, she's doing it in Porters.
No, I'm so coming with you. I actually love Porters, and I love Dan Porter, the owner of Porters.
Yes,
and I just love the whole what he does. Most things, everything there is free to go. You never have to pay an entry fee. He's always said, I want to make it free and accessible to anyone that wants to come, and it's you step into another world. And it is literally it's just one of the best venues in Cardiff, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. And they're I've done a lot of local amateur dramatics for Lanover Hall or Chapter Arts.
Yeah, Chapter's another
Chapter's
good one.
A lovely one. Yeah. I love Chapter so much.
I used to do my choir though.
Oh really?
Sing in my musical theatre choir.
Oh yes, yeah.
I can't sing, but I pretend. Thank God I never needed to audition. I was just Patrick, I'm joining, and he's that's fine. But he's such a lovely. When I was in it, and I used to say to people, I'm in a choir. They're like, it's musical theatre mixed with pop. So it'd be it'd be Todrick Hall, right, left, right, right, left.
Oh,
we did that with a musical song.
Was it Low with RuPaul in it? Because that's based on Wizard of Oz.
It might have been. Oh, I don't know. No, because they would mix a completely different musical song with that song. And but then Todrick Hall Instagram the Technicolor choir and seen it, and then I was just oh my God, he's gonna meet us, and he never, and Rhys would have absolutely killed me.
Oh yeah, I think I would have
cried. I would have been I'm so sorry, but I could not have got you here in time, but I'm not in it anymore as much, so I need to rejoin.
But then I've also done a bit of directing as well. Directed a school show.
Oh my gosh, yes, you have.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother beast of shows. But then from my view, it's all that hard work and all the putting stuff together and that.
You don't realise until you're part of it.
The kids, it was the best. They were having so much fun and they made friends and I suppose that's like the magic of it. Is like, you know, your choir or a musical group is like, it's great for just bringing people together.
Yeah.
I
just think it's so important, the arts. I think, like, I'm such a musical theatre fan. I know you are as well. And I know some people aren't because they don't like the whole, like, my granddad used to be like, I don't like the clapping in between each song. I'm like, I do. I'm on my seat, like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck, it's now an emotional scene. Sit down. But no, I think it's so important to show kids that, you know, it's good to express yourself like that.
But I went to see, was it The Colour Purple? Yeah, The Colour Purple when they came to Cardiff.
God, stop.
And
My
yes, and I'm not, and I'm telling you.
And I am telling you.
Oh no! I told a lie. It was Dreamgirls, and it was and I'm telling you.
Right.
And that happens just at the end of Act 1, and I've never seen an entire audience stand up and applaud
I've seen
in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
Like it was so good.
I heard that online about something.
Yeah.
About
It was insane. It was so good.
Who sang in that?
I can't remember the actors, but incredible.
I mean, they're all just freaking phenomenal, aren't they? Whether you're like a back or you're a front, like a, you know.
But to take on such a big song, like you're
that's
talking,
like,
Jennifer Holiday's done it.
Jay Hurst did it, didn't she?
Yeah, like that is. I don't know whether I'd be able to do it just the pressure. Never mind actually performing.
Even if you knew you were so talented, it'd still be like,
yeah.
Oh my god, I've just thought of another musical, The Notebook.
I've not seen it.
I've not seen it. It's only in New York. Yeah, I would fly there to see it next week if I could afford it, but you know, I can't. I'd love to see that with Joe Woods, a new upcoming musical theatre queen. Love her. But no, what we're saying, Colour Purple. That's another one that I would sell my soul for to see that live.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And like I didn't know because I, you know, through my sort of education, I've read The Colour Purple, and that's an intense book.
Oh, I bet.
Like
everything's more detailed when it's in a book.
Well,
though.
it's graphic, it's intense, it's wild. So I was like, making that into a musical is a bit of a like.
It's hardcore.
It must be difficult because obviously musicals have this thing of like being cheesy and happy all the time. But I'm
glad they did it though. It's kind of like they proved that just because it's on stage doesn't need to be, like you said, cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not an uplifting musical. I watched it came out in like the 80s, I think, the first one.
Oh yeah, with Oprah and
who else was in it? Can't even remember.
Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg, that's it. And then I saw the new one that they filmed.
Yes. No, I didn't see the new one.
Yeah, I think it came out in 2023. Or 2024, I can't remember. And it's got what's her name? We just had an Oprah Winfrey in it.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey.
But only like a small segment, obviously. She's not in the whole thing. But wow, absolutely hard hitting.
Yes.
But beautiful. Beautiful. I'd love to be in that.
Continuing from like the sort of stereotypes of musical theatre, I think like there's also been a lot of movement towards like sort of educational theatre.
Yeah.
Like I know not everything's true. Like Hamilton is roughly based on a true story, but it you know it does teach you some things, not even just skills. I mean, facts and information.
Yeah.
Like I've recently discovered a musical called My Land Shore, which is about a protest that happened in Wales about the Merthyr Rising riots, and I never knew about them. Never heard about them, and even though we live here, I'd never heard of this big, massive, like revolution that happened.
But put it on a musical, and you've learned about it.
Well, yeah, it's like I'll have a listen to it.
Oh, I love that though. It's like learning through music.
Well,
yeah.
And you're just like, I mean, there's a whole thing about the education system of like not learning about your own country, but like
that's crazy that we never knew that.
No,
they
and
never
there's
even
a whole
taught it in like a I don't know what subject you learn.
History.
Yeah.
But it's like, but there's also like so many shows where you learn like about so many like famous people.
Yeah.
And like characters. I know it's like fictionalized, but knowing that something about them I just find really interesting. But then I also don't like musicals where I have to pay attention too much. I don't like you have to focus like really like.
Have you got an example of one that you could?
I'm trying to think of like an intense musical that you kind of.
I feel like Les Mis is like a really intense one.
Yeah.
Even though I do love Les Mis.
I love Les Mis, and I've seen it. I saw it 3 times in 1 week. I still don't think I picked up on everything.
Yeah, it is a lot.
And but
even The Colour Purple is a lot.
Well, yeah.
So I feel like unless you really enjoy it, like you're not going to be interested.
But then I'd read the book of Colour Purple, so I knew the story.
Knew going in, and
But like with Les Mis, and like I know I've seen it 3 times, but I still think there's things I missed or character connections I didn't quite pick up on. And like the first time I watched Les Mis was the movie version with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I just got annoyed. Because every time I looked at the screen, Hugh Jackman was a different age. And it boggled my brain. Because he does. Sorry,
that is such a Rhys comment. I love it.
He was such a different.
He's got such a thing about aging, hasn't he?
Just like, that's how people feel about our podcast. Literally. Every time they watch an episode, Ruby gets older.
Wait, no,
actually, that's how life works, isn't it?
I was going to say, yeah.
Time.
Every 3 weeks I age 10 years.
But no, I just didn't enjoy it. And then I think I watched. It came to the millennium. Time for my second surprise. And you did mention it earlier about an original musical. So on my AI train, I typed in. This one was, can you write a musical about a podcast called A Bit of R&R with Ruby and Rhys? Oh. So what I thought we would... I think I'm missing a page.
Oh my god, I love how it says characters.
What I was thinking is we could read through it. Mm-hmm. I know it's supposed to be sung, but we could read through it as a script.
So like the bits that our names are?
Yeah. Okay. So it's like we're actually performing it. So yeah, so I typed in just a podcast called A Bit of R&R with Rhys and Ruby. I think I put two besties. Mm-hmm. And this is what I came up with. And I had a quick read through. And again, it's quite spooky how they've picked up on certain things about us.
Did you put my last name?
No.
That's so weird.
Where did you see that?
It's the brains behind the operation.
Yeah, but that's like the brains as in like an organizer.
No, sorry.
Oh god, that's a clip. No, that's a clip.
But my last name is that.
Clip it. So the first bit I'll read. Characters, Rhys, a quirky, upbeat guy with a love for storytelling, which is pretty spot on. Which is quite accurate.
You can put anything about us.
Just two besties, Rhys and Ruby, who run a podcast. So I don't know whether that's just a random guess and they just happen to find it. No, this is
insane. Mine says a witty, grounded person who is the brains behind the operation, which I am very witty. I always say that. I'm so witty, but also like doing all like the organising and stuff.
Yeah. So and then there's an extra character called Podcast Voices, which is a chorus of listeners or podcast guests coming soon. Who appear throughout. So scene one, they didn't give us like any idea of the story. I've had a quick read. I don't exactly know what the story is.
Okay.
So, but we'll have a little read. So, scene one, the studio. Setting, a cozy podcast studio filled with microphones, soundproofed walls, and coffee cups. Rhys is adjusting the mic while Ruby is at the desk, fiddling with a laptop. Rhys excitedly humming while checking wires. The world is waiting, Ruby. Time to rock the airwaves, you and me.
Rhys, you can't rock the airwaves if you don't know what you're talking about. We're here to educate, to share, to entertain. Not just to ramble about things we don't explain.
But the fans, they love our banter, don't they? They tune in every week, come what may.
True. They're loyal, they're great. But we've got to give them something we can't just replicate. Meaning wit, let's keep it tight. Or they'll stop listening and we'll lose our height.
Ha ha ha. Tap. Oh, Ruby, you worry too much, you know. We're podcast pals. We'll put on a great show.
Welcome back to a bit of R&R, where we chat and yap and have a good time. Interviews, stories, and laughs all around. So sit back and listen to our podcast sounds.
Imagine if we started like that.
I want to be sick.
Scene 2, the brainstorming session. So, how about an episode on conspiracy theories? What if the moon landing was fake? Or maybe the earth is flat?
That's a classic, but let's not fall for the trap. We need something fresh, something no one's tried. No more fake news or info that's been denied.
Alright, what about a deep dive into time travel? We'll interview people who claim they've been there.
Time travel's fun, but it's been done to death.
Has it? Has it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
We need something more. Something that makes you catch your breath.
She pauses, thinking, and lights up with an idea.
I've got it! Let's explore friendship itself. Godspeed. How it grows, how it changes, how it saves us when we're down. We'll talk about the bonds that help us wear the crown. We'll talk about our journey, our highs and our lows, the silly moments, the times when the friendship grows. Scene 3, the big episodes.
You know, Ruby, when we first met, it was like fate. We were just two strangers, each feeling a bit late. Okay. But then we clicked, our lives entwined, and here we are now with this podcast in mind.
It's funny, isn't it? How life's like... Why is that a tongue tie?
How life's
little twists bring two people together who couldn't have missed. We face the ups, the downs, the unexpected, but through it all, our bonds are always reflected.
Grinning, leaning into the mic. So let's take a moment, just you and me, and shout out to the friends who set us free. Oh, God, set us free.
To the ones who lift us and help us through, who make us stronger no matter what we do.
Here we go.
Right.
Scene 4, the future.
Made it, Rhys. Look who we are. Our voices reach far, like the light of a star.
And to think it started with just an idea, a mic and a dream, and a friendship so sincere.
We've created something that people hold dear, but the best part is, our friendship's still here.
Here's to us, Ruby. Here's to the ride. We'll keep creating together with nothing to hide. Through thick and thin, we'll keep it real. Two best friends with a podcast to seal. Podcast pals forever. Just wait and see. There's nothing we can do, you and me. That's the finale of our musical.
I'm sweating. I am so I'm sweating. I don't know if it's from reading.
I'm just really moved.
I'm so emotional.
To be fair, that was. I think I put in create a 5-minute musical.
No, that was actually iconic.
And then I put in the two besties run a podcast called Rhys and Ruby run a podcast called A Bit of R&R.
Yeah, and we actually did say, didn't we, that we want to.
Yeah, and you mentioned the musical, and I was like,
That's
"Oh no,
such a good idea." No, I actually appreciate that.
I thought that would be fun. I did try and print it off, but I must have not done enough copies. But yeah, so we've got an original song.
We do,
and now an original musical.
Guys,
see, AI's easy. Just pay AI. Don't pay artists instead.
Yeah.
Value your artist.
Do not.
This was purely AI. For purposes of entertainment and for
we hate
ease.
AI. Yeah, clearly.
I mean, I was going to say. I do think it is a great tool. It can really help.
Yeah.
It doesn't replace humans.
No.
I think it just makes things easier.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I think that's the way technology is going, but I think there's a limit on.
Yeah. But yeah, we did it purely for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, and it was funny.
And they were funny. I can't see this heading to the West End or Broadway anytime
soon.
Absolutely
not. No.
But
do you know what made me laugh? It's when we had to speak together. I sounded like I was in a cult.
Yeah.
Like we were round.
And how everything's written in a line by line rhyme.
Wow.
It's it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So those are my two surprises for today.
Thank you so much.
Our original musical and our new original song.
I mean, Rhys is the brains behind the operation in this episode, guys.
Right, so I thought we would talk about some of we both love musical theatre.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd talk about some shows and kind of do almost a blind ranking.
Yeah, let's do it. Definitely.
Because obviously, I know we both love musicals and we have a very similar taste, but there are some differences.
Yeah, there's things that I've not seen that you've seen and vice versa.
Or things that I like that you don't like or whatever. So we as a team, but I don't think we haven't seen the list, but it's been created a random list of musicals. Yeah. So I thought we'd go through and kind of rank them. Mm-hmm. So if we go from A to E, you talk about if you like them, don't like them, and then we'll kind of find a middle ground and put them into a sort of an order then.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
We'll start from there.
Let's do it.
Right, so we're going to start off strong with Wicked.
Oh my gosh. It's good. This list I feel is going to be complicated for me because I could just rate everything as number one, but Wicked. We're talking about the musical version.
Well, I was going to say we could do both. And off big with Wicked. We've both seen it in London,
New York.
Oh, you've seen it in New York.
That's what I wanted to talk about for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the difference between. So, guys, if I'm like this, it's because the sun is literally currently in my eyeballs. But
crazy weather today in the UK.
It is stunning. I love it. But no, I went to Broadway to see Wicked, which was. Just an experience.
That is like bucket list experience.
It's been my dream. But to go to like Wicked front row in New York, where I've been wanting to go since I was like 8 years old, but to also go on like the 20th anniversary was like incredible, and the cast, just whoever they were just amazing. But I wanted to ask, because obviously it's hard to compare if you've never done Broadway versus West End. One thing I could take away from a Broadway versus like a London West End show. I think they just go a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
no, like I don't even want to say. Sorry, I don't want to say that to be like offensive to like West End us because I'm British and like I'm all for me. But like I feel like they just do everything a little. That's
the kind of a stereotype of Americans, isn't it? So they're big, they love their production value, which is a type of show that I love.
Yeah.
I like the sort of big over-the-topness of musicals.
Oh my God, me and Rhys are going to plan to go to New York.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
We actually should do that.
That'd be amazing.
100%. Yeah.
Oh God, we could blog it. That'd be amazing.
Oh my gosh, ideas. But yeah, wicked.
Yeah, it's they do go bigger. They do turn it out, and especially with like I don't know if you call them residency performances, like when they're there for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're obviously going to be able to build their set more to what they like and be able to do things that you couldn't really do on a touring production because of the time frame of the move-in and
because it's
up.
in that theatre for that specific like what,
whereas, like
6
look
months,
at
whatever.
the ABBA Voyage.
Yeah,
they couldn't take that on. I think they have tried to take it on tour, but
I feel like, have you seen ABBA Voyage?
Yes, I've been to. I've seen.
I went to go, but I didn't see it in the end.
But it's like they could not take that and move that around.
It's incredible though.
But because it's sat in one place in their own, I think it's a purpose-built arena.
Yeah, it is.
They can do everything they want.
Yeah.
Like they can spend millions setting it all up.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a difference between sort of the touring shows and
100%
shows that stay in one place for a long time.
Yeah.
But back to Wicked then. So I do think it's one of those staples of musical theatre. I think that's like a you must see Wicked. Like we were talking about Phantom earlier. Mm-hmm. That's like a you must see it to be a musical theatre fan.
Yeah, like if you're like a younger person or like if you've not seen any musicals, I think Wicked should probably be like, in my opinion, it would be such an amazing first musical to see. And
I think I did enjoy it. I did love it. The hype for it though is insane. Being one of those fundamental shows that you should see for musicals, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know if the hype was more than or I went in so up there like this is like the
movie.
Or
the musical.
For the musical, I think I went in going. Everyone thinks this is like the pinnacle of musical theatre.
Oh, I didn't.
Did you know?
No.
Okay.
The reason I picked it, we went on Boxing Day, but obviously Americans don't celebrate Boxing Day because I was there over Christmas. And I was like, oh my God, we don't celebrate Boxing Day in America, so what else to do? Obviously, totally. I was in New York, so I was like, go to a Broadway show, amazing. But I didn't go into it thinking, oh my God, this is like the best thing since sliced bread. I just thought, oh my God, like what an amazing first show to ever see in Broadway.
Okay.
But I understand what you mean. There is a lot of hype, and I especially think a lot of it over the movie as well.
I mean, we also talked about that earlier. The movie is insane. It's incredible. I really enjoyed the movie.
I have for that director is insane.
And like I was really skeptical of Ariana in there originally when it was announced, and then learning more about her musical theatre past.
Wow.
Because she is a musical theatre trained performer. That's how she got to start.
Her singing, I'm sorry.
She is incredible.
They all deserve Tony Awards.
So on our list of from A to E, where would you rank Wicked?
Right now, top.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to come to a unanimous decision.
Yeah, so I would probably go B.
Yeah, we'll do B.
To be safe.
Yeah. Oh, in case something, because we actually don't know.
Well, we don't know what's going to come next, so I'm thinking B. Like, we can have multiple Bs, we can have multiple each letter, but I think B would be a good place to start.
Okay.
Next on our randomly generated list is another one of the big ones, Les Mis.
Les Mis.
Les Mis. We did talk about earlier.
We did. We talked about the movies mainly. I like Les Mis.
I do like Les Mis.
I like the storyline. Very powerful, very hard hitting.
Based on a book.
But I saw it 2019, 6 years ago, and I was sat right at the back, and it is quite a dark production.
Yes.
And I couldn't see much.
Okay.
My eyesight's perfect, but I was like, it's quite dark down there, and I was like right at the top.
Eyesight after a certain age does start to go. So, I like it. Would I say it's the same as Wicked? No. So I think
what we should do for this.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to have a very similar opinion on what letter we're going to rank
Okay.
it. So on 3, 2, 1, we'll say it. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, D.
C. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think let's go D.
Like, it is a big one, and I like our ratings are not to like diminish.
Yeah, no.
Not to like be like, Les Mis is like less for us than Wicked. I think if I could rate all these number one, I would. It's just for purposes of like entertainment and stuff. But
like we, our opinions are our opinions. Then we're not saying it's the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion, and putting something at the bottom at our E list doesn't mean it's a bad show or the writing is awful or the performance was bad.
That's true.
It just means that it wasn't our favourite in the list of things we've got.
Yeah.
Next one is Miss Saigon.
Miss Saigon.
Okay. Right, this is one of the few musicals that I did not enjoy.
Okay, and you've seen a lot.
I have seen loads. I did go into Miss Saigon blind.
So did I.
I think it's a very golden age musical. I think it's from a time that is not ours right now. And obviously, as a modern person looking back, I find a few issues with some of the storylines and the portrayal of people from other countries, which, yes, as I just said, is from a different time. I find I'm not saying
you could understand.
Yeah,
that,
I'm not calling it. I'm not saying it's a racist production or the storyline is racist. But what I'm saying is, from my modern view, I don't know whether I can look past some of those old-fashioned views.
Yeah, okay.
And that's just my opinion. Yeah. And I've had loads of discussions with people saying that, oh, well, this is the time it was written. Yes, it was. And I'm not saying you should change it or edit it. But for me, I can't get past that. That's one of the things I can't get past. I think the show was great. The performers were amazing, as expected from any big musical.
Singers are just
outstanding. No spoilers, but the end of the show was very powerful and very striking. But if you were to ask me to name something from the show, I would say the helicopter and the ending. That's just 2 moments in the show. I don't know how much I could actively remember of it. Or any songs.
The reason I'm not saying anything is because I agree with everything you're saying, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
If I could put my feelings into words, they would probably be very similar to yours. Saigon is a very hard-hitting musical.
It is.
It's not gonna be for everyone.
So if we're rating Les Mis at a D,
I would probably say Miss Saigon is an E.
E.
Yeah.
I would totally put Miss Saigon as an E.
So the next one is Chicago.
Okay. It's one that I've not got a lot of experience with. It's not a show that...
You've not seen it, right?
I've not seen it live. I've seen the movie. And I know the majority of the songs just through being in the musical theatre space. The songs are very iconic.
The songs are very iconic.
They are very iconic. They are very... I've seen them perform loads of times by loads of different people.
Yeah.
I think it is a great show. It's very iconic. Do I think it's has been as impactful as, say, Wicked? No. Do I think it has been more impactful than Les Mis? Ooh.
It might be the same.
Yeah, I would say the same.
I think it'd probably be the same.
So we're going to give it...
I'm kind of keeping options open.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen Chicago live, and it is such an amazing stage production. Oh my god!
The dancing in it, the Fosse style embedded throughout is
incredible.
Amazing.
It's one of my faves. But I think I would. Yeah, I think D.
D. Yeah, we'll put that for D.
Yeah. The next one we have Annie. I have not seen Annie the musical.
Okay.
Obviously, I've seen Annie the movie, the original.
I think Miss Hannigan is one of those roles I'd love to play.
And Tim Curry's in Annie. In the original.
Oh, is he? Okay, I didn't know that.
He's the boyfriend. He's the dad of Annie. She has the wacky parents.
Yeah.
He's the dad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch the original film.
Love Tim Curry. Can we
I do love, I was going to say, love Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. What an icon.
Yeah, one of my,
one of the greats, right? Yeah,
100%. But I do know...
So for that, it's an A for me. No, I'm joking.
I do also know, however, that Annie's really a common thing that school productions do.
Yes. We did ours in school.
As a production, I don't know whether I like it.
I understand that.
I think...
Taking a legendary film to... Well, no, you can take legendary films.
Yes, you can.
100%,
and especially for kids, because obviously they've got to change it. For me, if I was putting it on, it wouldn't be my first choice of show to put on.
I prefer it as a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's great for youngish kids.
Yeah.
When you get to high school level, to me, it's quite a boring show.
Yeah,
my first instinct is to put it at D as well.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah. Les Mis, Chicago, Annie.
But then those are 3 massive shows. Iconic, legendary musical theatre productions we've put in D.
I feel like if I was going to put Annie in D, I would change Chicago to C.
Oh, see, I was going to say I'd change Les Mis to C.
Really? Les Mis is a bigger show, in my opinion.
As in bigger, as in
everything,
more pop.
production, the storyline of Les Mis. So I actually might agree with
Well,
that.
it's up to you. I don't mind. I mean, we can put Annie in D, but I'm just saying those are 3 iconic shows.
I think we should change Les
we've
Mis
chucked
to C.
Okay.
And put Annie in Chicago in D.
So what we've done is we've put Les Mis in B, and then Annie in D.
Yeah.
So, okay, fab.
I like that.
So, the next show was one I know we've both been a part of in school productions, actually. Talking about school shows.
Yes.
It was actually my Year 11 production.
Yeah.
When we did Hairspray.
Was it? Mine was Year 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played Brad, who's one of the Corley Collins dancers.
I love how we haven't actually said the show name, but can you guess? Yeah. Can you guys guess from that?
True.
We can't keep that. That's so good.
It's Hairspray.
Drum roll. It's Hairspray.
I really enjoyed being in Hairspray.
I loved it. It was my only production in Cathays that I was in.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I really enjoyed the danciness of it because there's not a lot of school shows that are heavy dance shows. Like with us being, because obviously the story is you're watching a dance show. We were dancing like basically throughout.
Yeah.
As a production, I love it.
Me too.
It's one of those classics I will watch on
oh my God,
on the movie for years and years and years.
Yeah. It never gets boring.
Never gets boring. And John Travolta as Edna, I love so much.
Iconic.
And do you know what's really underrated?
Go on.
I'm not sure if it's in the movie or in the musical. They have a duet called You're Timeless to Me. It's Edna and Wilbur, the dad.
I can't remember. I'd have to research
It's like a comedy number of like how much they love each other. But they like talking about like food and like all this stuff.
I don't know if that's in the musical. Might be in the. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's in the musical and not the movie. Anyway,
we'll have to fact check it.
But I really enjoy it. I know there's a lot of controversy about schools doing this production because of the implications of race, and I do think it's up to schools to make that decision. But I just don't think you can't. It's one of those shows that the race is really important.
Of course.
Because the whole point of the story is the treatment.
Of course it is.
So if you don't have people of colour to fill your cast, then you can't do the show.
Do you have any pictures of when you were in it?
They are in my bedroom.
I have pictures. I was just an extra, guys.
Yeah.
I wasn't any like lead, but I was there's a scene in it where someone's getting a cootie jab. I was the person giving the cootie jabs. But I loved it. Like I worked like a little bit on lighting. I was very like intrigued to know like how the lighting worked and how the mics worked, and like I'd like move things in and off set because I wasn't on stage all the time. No, I loved doing Hairspray. I was so like I love musicals. I love musicals all my life. So actually being in something, I was like, oh my God.
And I think that's one of the ones though that is very classical musical theatre in that it's very big and over the top.
Everyone knows it.
And also like it's very. I know it's obviously all about the treatment, but like it's very big, grand, flamboyant.
Well, I mean,
camp.
Here it's just like
that's what I mean. And like
incredible.
The end scene. I mean, we can give spoilers because the movie's been out for now for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Of Edna coming through a big Hairspray can. It's like like that's iconic.
Yeah. Oh no, I love Hairspray. It's one of my favourites.
I think I would put that at B.
I was literally my exact
at
same.
B?
I was like, yeah,
we'll put that at B. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I've been thinking.
Go on.
Should we move Wicked up to A?
Oh, guys.
I know you said A originally, and I went to B.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking for the like Wicked is such a big show that the vocals are like we talked about how incredible the performances are and like Wizard and I, Defying Gravity, Popular. As a vocal showcase, it's much more prominent than Hairspray. Okay, so the next one is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, I'm aware of this show, but I'm not a massive...
Aware?
Aware,
okay.
I do know this show, but I'm not I don't know enough, so take it away.
So, in the beginning, there was nothing.
Wow, spotlight.
No, I did this in school as well.
Did you?
And we actually... I don't know how much you know about my school, but it was a Catholic school.
Yeah.
So, doing Jesus Christ Superstar was quite... Well, I thought it was controversial. I don't think the school actually cared. But I thought...
it's like Christian.
Well, yeah, and it was like musical theatre, and it was like... It's not a parody, but it's not an accurate retelling.
Yeah.
But I don't think the school actually cared. I think that was just in my brain being like, oh, I'm doing it in a school.
Yeah.
Oh. But I really enjoyed it. I went to see, so I was in it, I think that was year 9 when we did it. And then I went to see it when it came to Cardiff. And they had a star-studded cast. So Tim Minchin, the comedian, was playing Judas.
I think I know who that is.
Chris Moyles, the radio host, was playing Pontius Pilate, who was the guy who sentenced Jesus to death.
Yeah.
Mel C was in it.
Was she?
She played Mary Magdalene,
wow.
who's like the Lady of the Night, not officially, because it's not confirmed, but she's one of the sinful people that Jesus befriends. They did a show called Superstar, and the guy who won it played Jesus when it came to see the show, and I think that was everyone. But he was in the Motorpoint, so it was like a stadium tour rather than like a musical show, which was really interesting. I am thinking
I'm going to stay off the ranking for this one.
Okay,
I don't know enough, so you can.
I would go C.
Yeah,
middle of the road.
Middle of the road, perfect. So the next one we have is The Lion King. Have you seen it?
Joe, I've never actually watched the movie the whole way through. I always end up doing something else.
Fair enough.
I've not seen the musical.
Okay.
Although my graduation was in the Wales Millennium Centre, and at the time of my graduation, they were doing Lion King. So as we were walking off the stage with our diplomas, although it's not the real diploma, inside a tea, but all the set and staging was on the side of the stage, tucked away, but we walked straight past it, which was like, whoa.
So you've basically been
it's been, second time I've been featured on a major stage in the UK.
Wow. Sorry for saying that. I saw it twice in London. Front row, actually.
Okay.
It was like, well, one of the best production costume wise. Like, I think everything else, storyline, singers, production behind and in front, like, amazing. The costume department. Yes,
they are insane on that show. And they come through the audience, don't they? The animals. Is it during Circle of Life? Do they come through the audience?
I can't remember. I think they do.
Because I've heard that's the thing about the show is that apparently what I've heard is they come through the audience as they're walking in. So, and I just think like Circle of Life is a very powerful song. Just Can't Wait to Be King, wonderfully energetic. I love that. Hakuna Matata, can't replace it. Like, that's one of those that will never go away. What are you thinking first?
It's between B and C.
I was going to say B.
I was going to say B.
Okay. Should we do B?
Let's
do B. Next one is Dear Evan Hansen, which is another musical I'm not too familiar with.
Ellie Mayer. That's not the lyric.
What did you just say?
I'm trying to sing the lyric.
Lisa Mayer. Isn't she a housewife?
No. Picture perfect afternoon. And it's one of my favourite musicals to exist.
Okay.
Because I just love the storyline. I think it's such a beautiful story of... I can't even describe it in words. It's so emotional.
It's very emotional and heartfelt.
It's so heartfelt. I just think it's so important.
Did you watch the redo when they filmed it for Netflix? I say redo, they filmed it, didn't they, with Ben Platt?
Yeah. That's my favourite. Ben Platt is like my Barbra Streisand. Such an icon. I love him. I'd love to see him. Like, remember he did like a whole production in Radio City Music Hall in New York, and it was just amazing. But him and Dear Evan Hansen, icon, love. I would be like, it needs to be B, but that's like just because it's like one of my favourites. I'd probably put it as A, but unanimously, I know it's not one of your favourites.
So, because it's a musical I don't know too much about, I was thinking B, but I do know about how I'm aware of how many people love it and how like massive of a show it is in terms of like
just the
response from the audience.
Yeah.
So I would be more than happy to put that an A. Should we put it as an A? Yeah.
Guys, the next one I'm just going to sing and see if you guess it.
Please
Take me, baby. Leave me. Rent. It lives rent-free in my head.
Oh, God. Really good show.
Yeah.
Did enjoy. Don't think I reviewed it. Just think I went to see it.
I haven't seen it on stage. I saw the movie.
It's a very good movie. The musical, when I went to see it, actually starred Lucy Jones, wonderful performer.
Wow.
Who actually went to my college.
Yeah.
And
you told me about
yes,
it.
yeah, she went to my college, and I actually sat next to her dad during the show, and actually learnt after the fact she used to go to a theatre school near me, and is good friends with one of my best friends, which was amazing.
Oh yeah, because she toured for it, right?
Yes, yeah. So KD, one of my good friends, went on Lucy Jones's "This Is Me" tour, and was the opening act. And they're very good friends.
Shoulders with the greats.
Yes. It's not what I think of when I think of musicals.
I feel like it's probably... This is getting hard.
Yeah.
So I'm comparing it to things we've already put in certain categories.
I think
it's... I don't know if it's a... I think maybe C.
I'd be happy with C.
Because it's like middle ground. I don't think it's a D.
Okay, I'm happy with C.
Are you happy? Yeah.
Let's put it in C. The next one is one of my personal favourites. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is a show I have seen live 7 times. The movie...
Okay, well, we don't need to rate that anything lower than an
8 or 9 times.
Yeah.
The adaptation that the one they did for the celebration when they went on the UK 4 or 5 times.
Okay, well, that's a quick one.
The remake 3 or 4 times.
That's all we need to say. Like, the amount of times you've paid to see it or been invited to see it.
I just think it's one of those shows.
It's an iconic...
I just think there's nothing like it. There is nothing like that show in that, one, the story is wild. And, like, the characters are insane. It's just... like queerness at full. Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. I think it's a truly unique show.
I love it.
I think I would go A, to be fair.
I would go A as well. Amazing. Glad we agree.
That's all the time we have, so thank you all for listening.
Thanks, guys. It's been amazing as per usual. If you want to be involved in our podcast, you can email us at abitofrr@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow our socials at a Bit of R&R Podcast, which is for Instagram and our TikTok. And yeah, it's been lush as per usual. See you next week, Rhys.
See you next week.
Bye.